Here's a couple of points to validate from the universe that you're an empath. Number one, if you feel very overwhelmed by crowded places, whether it's malls, whether it's a festival, it can be your own house, and it's not because there's anything negative or positive happening, it's just because you have a sensitive nervous system and you feel overloaded by how many people are around you or energies are around you, you're definitely an empath. Number two, if people have a weird comfort for some odd reason, you call it an odd reason, to tell you things, whether it's a friend or a random stranger, they just feel very comfortable to tell you very personal things and you find yourself listening and holding space for them. Oh, you're definitely an empath. If you've always felt like there's something bigger going on, despite getting married, despite work, despite money, despite climbing up a corporate ladder, all of that shit means absolutely nothing because there's this one feeling that you can't shrug off since childhood, that there's something more, a weird connection to astrology, horoscope, ghost stories. You've always been curious about these movies, Touched by an Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all that kind of stuff. These themes have followed you and interested or caught your attention throughout your life. You're definitely empathic. One very, very distinct empathic trait is also being of service to others as opposed to being of service to self. If you always just can't help but feel the other person's point of view, just naturally, you're definitely empathic. If you have a gift, but it hasn't probably been validated either by your community, your context, mom, dad, family, friends, partner, if no one has validated it, but you know that you've either seen something, experienced sleep paralysis, have a connection to clairvoyancy, clairaudiency, your claircognizance, which is like a feeling, a knowing, you're definitely empathic. One that I really like, if you have been throughout your life very particular, especially as a child, but even more so as an adult, if you've been very particular about who makes your food, where the food comes from, more so if you have issues with dairy and red meat, you just feel indifferent to dairy and red meat, and you're just particular about food, particular about who makes the food, you're borderline fussy, you're definitely an empath, 100%. One that I really like is if you have a unexplained connection to nature, vastness, openness, just beautiful land, whether it is in the form of being close to an element of water, the element of wind, the element of fauna and flora in forests, dense forests, if you have a connection to mountainous areas, any form of nature, if you have a connection to dogs that is just sentimental and spiritual, connection to cats, anything, you definitely empathic. If you can't find yourself to get comfortable with dense urban living, like cluster setups or living very high from the ground in apartments, and you just can't get used to that, and you really yearn for like a space where there's space around the space, you get what I'm saying? You definitely empathic, 100%. And lastly, it's a positive and a negative, but if you suffer from severe anxiety, where you feel like you identify with anxiety, there's a crippling nature, there's a people-pleasing energy, you are in your feminine energy, wounded, and this allows the Manipura, the solar plexus, the place where your confidence comes from, the stomach, also the place where your gut feeling comes from, your intuition comes from. Remember, you empathic, you gifted, you are a gifted individual. But if you're living in denial of your gift, then how that manifests in your body experience is anxiety, IBS, lack of self-esteem, low confidence, don't believe in yourself, not sure, would rather let them talk and you sit in the background. You don't want any attention on yourself. You're scared to speak up, have a blocked throat chakra. You're definitely empathic, 100%. So, I want you to take this video, not to sit there and say, oh my word, I'm empathic. Now what? I want you to just use it as a validation of something that the universe is just using me. Imagine me like a brown angel number. and you just so happen to stumble across this video, it's in your FYP, and you're like, oh shit, Nathaniel, this is a damn sign. I've always been curious about these things that make me feel different, like a black sheep, and now finally there's a video that wholeheartedly and wholesomely and authentically makes me feel like these things are aligned to something that I've always been curious about. I'm just another sign that the universe is using amongst all the others to validate something that not your mom, your dad, your environment close to you has ever validated. We are part of a beautiful collective consciousness, and trust me, my dear empaths, male, female, young or old, we need you. There's a shift going on in this world. Things are getting very weird, and we need as many people to come into their awakening so that not fast, not slow, just at your time, at your pace. Don't rush, but just know we need you, because some stuff is going to happen in the world, and we just need you to believe in yourself and not doubt your intuition. Please, I beg of you. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I teach people like you how to come into their gift, because I was once where you were. I experienced everything that you guys are going through. 100%. I've gone through that, and now I'm in this space where I can help you where I once was. Share this video with someone that you feel needs to hear this. Let it go to the places where it's meant to go. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be a space in your consciousness to bring about awareness.